Nothing more appropriate than on Law Day to be talking about a federal judge in New York who so distrusts the Trump administration that she will not administer justice in her courtroom with the federal Department of Justice in front of her unless they get a transcript of the proceeding in front of her from a court reporter and bring that transcript with them wherever they go in the case to make sure her words aren't twisted out of shape. She just imposed Magistrate Judge Netburn in New York in a case involving the Department of Justice trying to use all powers of intimidation to go after a student group on Columbia University and Barnard's campus, the Columbia University apartheid divest group, but not to investigate criminal activity like the Department of Justice is supposed to do, use their civil rights division to use a hammer against these students to try to get a list of their names to look to deport them under the guise of we're protecting against anti-Semitism. I mean, I don't necessarily like all the positions that college students and others and graduate students take on college campuses, but I'll be damned if I'm not going to protect their right to get up on their soapbox in the public square. And now we've reached the point that Donald Trump has so torn down what was once a proud reputation of the Department of Justice that now federal judges, they don't trust a word that comes out of the federal prosecutors' mouths. And now they've gone so far, at least one in New York, to say, you know what? You don't have to worry about twisting my words. Let's get a transcript. And every time you go back to the judge responsible for this case, take that transcript with you. I'm Michael Popok. Hopefully you take Legal AF with you everywhere you go. And now's a perfect time to help us. Hit the subscribe button. And have you gotten your fill of Legal AF? I haven't. Come on over to Legal AF, the Substack, Legal AF Substack, for all the stuff we can't even cover during the day, or things like court filings. Let's talk about this particular action. Judge Cattell, I've been in front of him in New York, has a magistrate judge. Her name is Magistrate Netburn. Judge Cattell is an Article III judge, and the magistrate is appointed and picked from a list of people. And the magistrates do a lot of the justice dispensing in our federal criminal and federal civil process. Magistrates handle discovery issues. They can even handle summary judgments. They can do trials if that's what the parties want them to do. In the criminal side, they'll handle subpoenas and search warrants, arrest warrants, bond and bail, all those things. Magistrate judges. And if you don't like what the magistrate judge says, you can take it back to the judge, but they give a lot of respect to their magistrate, especially Magistrate Judge Netburn and Judge Cattell. What happened? Well, Emil Bove, you may remember, it was one of Donald Trump's criminal defense lawyers. He's the one who looked like the Grim Reaper at every hearing. Yeah, well, he's now the number 3 of the Department of Justice. And he's decided to dismantle things that I used to hold dear, and you should too, like the Public Integrity Unit of the Department of Justice, the Civil Rights Division of the Department of Justice. And he turns those things on their head, throws the game board of justice over, and then uses them to go after the people that used to be the ones that you would go protect because they're the victims. Instead, he wants to lead, because Trump wants him to, an intimidation campaign against these student groups because they take positions that the administration, and maybe me too, find uncomfortable about Israel and Hamas and apartheid and everything else. But again, I'm a First Amendment believer. I'm a constitutionalist, and I believe in all the articles of the Constitution and all the amendments of the Bill of Rights. Okay? All right. Now, let's keep going. Emil Bove wants to go after this student group. So he orders career prosecutors in the Civil Rights Division, of all things, headed by Harmeet Dillon, who's a Republican animal, wants to be Attorney General one day, wants to be head of the Republican National Committee, and this was her consolation prize, her booby prize. She gets to run the Civil Rights Division out of existence. And so he tells career prosecutors, I want the mailing list. Like, what is this, like the 1980s? The mailing list? These guys exist, on the internet. they exist in the ether. They're not, there's no mailing, there's no master mailing list. Why does he want it? Yeah, speculation, and I think it's a good one from reporting, including the New York Times, is that it'll be turned over to the group that's responsible for deportations. Oh, can't get that? Let's get their Instagram. All right, well, you can get all of that, but you got to go through a judge. That's the problem. And in New York, the judges are moderate to liberal. So first up, they go for a search warrant to Judge Cattell. Judge Cattell Normal process refers it over to Magistrate Judge Netburn. Magistrate Judge Netburn takes a look at the probable cause and all the other stuff and says, you want what? A search warrant to go into the Instagram because there was an upside down triangle that you believe is linked to Hamas? You're going to have to come up with more than that. And so she rejects it. Emile Bove has the prosecutors appeal it to the judge, Judge Cotel, the Article 3 judge. And then it gets worse because he sends it back to Netburn with instructions. Take another look. Take a closer look. She has another full-blown hearing with a court reporter and then says, let me hear. Okay, I'll look at it again. Do you have any new evidence? No. Let me hear the evidence that you have. Yeah. No. Reject it. Not only reject it, I have a new requirement for you, federal government, Department of Justice. So listen up. In this courtroom, including Judge Cotel, when you're in my courtroom, you get a transcript. You take that transcript with you and you file that transcript under seal if you have to with the judge, because I want that to police what happens in this courtroom, because she doesn't believe them. She doesn't believe they're operating with a duty of candor to the tribunal or with honesty or integrity. Who could doubt her? Look what we've seen by Donald Trump single-handedly dismantling the Department of Justice. He sends lawyers in, whatever lawyers are left, 2/3 have left. Whatever lawyers for the Department of Justice are left are purposely not prepared by the client, the administration. They're not given information. They're not given the file, the documents, the facts on purpose. So they can't, it's not even plausible deniability. It's implausible. So they come in, judges now know they're being played, or they lie. Things are going on behind the scenes and they lie about it. Or they file briefs where the law doesn't stand for the proposition, so they can't be trusted as an advocate. Then Donald Trump attacks federal judges. He says they should be put in jail. He said they've committed crimes, that they are corrupt, they are leftist, they are activists, every day, every way attacking judges. I mean, 2 judges, one has already found probable cause, Judge Boasberg, to find the Trump administration in contempt, and criminal contempt at that. Another judge, Judge Zinnes, in the Abrego Garcia case, is about to do the same thing, probably by mid to late May. That's those 2 things. At the same time, Donald Trump's out. What is he doing? Is he fixing his relationship with the judiciary? No, he's not obeying or abiding by the United States Supreme Court decisions, right? And at the same time, while his poll numbers are in the trash, he's arresting state court judges who are just defending the rule of law in their courtroom. So is it any wonder that federal judges they've had enough, especially on rule of law day, where they're like, yeah, no, you guys come in here, I'm listening to you. You don't get the benefit of the doubt. There's a transcript, take it with you to the judge. That's your new requirement. You know, how many times have I heard judges now, and I've never heard this before in my life, in 35 years of federal practice, that a proud U.S. attorney or head of or part of the Department of Justice would have to be lectured by a judge like Judge Boasberg did about ethics, about integrity, about not lying to the tribunal. For the Department of Justice, look on the back of your jersey. It says the United States of America. Wow. This whole story is wow. But this is the natural byproduct of electing a felon who is lawless, who has no respect for the rule of law, doesn't understand the rule of law or the role of law in the public square. I'm going to continue to follow it right here. This is where you need to be at the intersection of law and politics. We need to talk truth to each other. You need to hold on to that truth. You need to use it to activate, to rebel, and to drive the bastards out on a rail come the midterms, and just lay waste to the MAGA Republican Party. Really, that's where we're at right now. Yeah, I'll never cave. I'll never fold. No one will ever tell me what to say on this network or on this channel, or that would be my last day. And nobody ever would on the Midas Touch Network or on Legal AF. I'm glad you're here. If you love Legal AF, come over to Legal AF, the Substack. I'm curating that as well. Amazing content. A morning AF from Popok every day in your inbox. That sounds pretty good. So until my next reporting here on Legal AF, the YouTube channel, or over on Midas Touch, or on the Substack, I'm Michael Popok. In collaboration with the Midas Touch Network, we just launched the Legal AF YouTube channel. Help us build this pro-democracy channel where I'll be curating the top stories, the intersection of law and politics. Go to YouTube now and free subscribe at Legal AF MTN. That's at Legal AF MTN.